I realized I can explain something about this era, like this era of maybe I could call it the era of wonder. And I've got my science book here because I'm a scientist. I'm carrying this around to remind myself to make this video. Scientists have a slight advantage right now because we're used to something called convergent truth. The most famous example of convergent truth that I know of is where Isaac Newton and Leibniz, or he has a French name, they both sort of came up with calculus at the same time. And you could sort of, it would be really great to have a list of examples because there's a lot more. But the concept is called convergent truth. The concept, I'm having trouble saying the word convergent. Convergent truth. Convergent truth. Because as we progress into the future and learn more and more, hypothetically, we're going to learn more and more. We'll get an idea for a thing. And that thing, someone else will have the idea, or someone will already have had the idea, and it will come into existence. Oh, I wanted to get this into the shot. This is nice. But I could imagine it being a little bit confusing. So, scientists have a little bit of practice for a couple hundred years now, as a group, of being kind of confused about that. Like, I had this great idea over here, and in this other part of the world entirely, they got the same idea. What's going on here? So, a couple hundred years of practice of that, and now we're all sort of all heading on into the singularity together. And it's just going to be more and more and more of that. And there might be some, there is like maybe the susceptibility of a cult or something like that. You have this overwhelming feeling of there's a technique called mirroring where someone reflects your values back at you and manipulates you with that. So there's going to be all of these mirrors, and I guess I just want to inspire people to not be like, you don't have to be overwhelmed or confused. And you just have to, it's humility, where you're like, we're humans. And the time was ripe for these certain ideas. It can be humbling. I'd say it is very... it's like a rite of passage for a scientist to try and find their own unique idea. But then you'll like find out that it had already existed. That there's probably some like cicada beats of that. Now that, but it's just it's gonna be a natural consequence of having all of this truth available. Like truth, and truth. You combine them together and now you have this new truth. And we're doing that the most explicitly, or like the most mathematically that we've ever done it in human history, or maybe not. But anyway, just like heads up, 6-minute video apparently. I was trying to give people heads up. Tips from a scientist, right?